Intro music. All right, we're live. Sweet. Hey guys, Bobby here from Wedding Film School with our third live stream, second film live stream. And so yeah, today I'm going to be live reviewing some films submitted from the community. I have put a link already in the chat as well as the description if you want your film, website, or pricing guide reviewed. We are accepting submissions from the community in order to do that. So you need to just fill out this little form. It's like 7 or 8 questions, something like that. It's super quick and easy. If it's the film, one big thing I want to make a note of here, and I changed it a little bit, the wording on the form, I need the link to the song, or at least give me the artist and the title of the song that you licensed for that film, or the song that you use so that I can license it and use it in the review video. Otherwise, we're going to get flagged, and then this is going to get demonetized and might get taken down or might get silenced or things like that, and I don't want that to happen. So make sure that you do that. I see we've already got some people in the live stream and in the chat. It looks like a couple Canadians. That's awesome. I love it. Visionary Weddings, what's up? As well as Love Photos and Films. Good to see you guys. Everybody else, say hi. Say where you're from. I'd love to know where you're watching from and stuff like that. I'm trying to mix up some of these timings just to see. I've made polls in like the group and on YouTube just to see what's the best time for all of you guys, because I want as many of you here as possible. Of course, though, this will be rewatchable. It will be, I don't know what it's do. It goes live and then it just sits in the library or something, so you can always watch it. And then let's see. Before we get into it, one other big thing. We're gonna have a few today, a few videos from members. So we have opened up our memberships. Actually, let me go ahead and just post this. Membership is going to guarantee you, or basically give you priority in these film reviews, in the website reviews, in the pricing guide reviews, all those reviews, even in the base level at $4.99 a month, you're going to get priority in these, in these live streams to get your stuff reviewed. So, and then from there, we have other tiers of memberships too, and those give you, some other benefits. You can get into some private groups. You can get a guaranteed, at the top end one, you just get a guaranteed live review from myself or Jason, and it doesn't have to be on the live stream, but we'll record a video like this. We can do it on the live stream if you want, or we can send it to you privately, and it'll be a little more in-depth as well, because we won't be, trying to shuffle through a bunch of films at one time, and you get one of those each month at the top end, and you get some cool little like logos and stuff in the chat and whatnot. So thank you to everybody for being here. I don't know if there's anything else to go over before we jump into it. I think the only other thing is, I like to say this always, this is a community-based thing. I have 14 years experience in the wedding film industry, but I am not the, end-all opinion. A lot of what I'm going to say is thoughts, and some of it will be technical and a little more like fact, like, hey, this was overexposed or something like that. But some of it is just my opinion, so take it or leave it. And then also, I'm not the only one who should be contributing here. Like, I know that I'm the one on camera, but we've got this awesome chat. We've got plenty of you in the chat already, which I love. So, if you guys see something too, if you're like, hey, I would have mixed up this shot, or I would have done the grade a little bit different, put it in there. Like, we can all learn from each other. I don't care if you have 14 years experience or 4 months experience, or you're in here for 2 weeks at this point. You know what I mean? Like, if you are making wedding films, we can all learn from each other, and there are things that we all excel at, and there are things that we all, the opposite of excel at, fall short on. So, all right. So with that said, let me get this first video queued up here. Our first video from a member is from Visionary Films. So we're going to be watching I Will Be Your Gravity, is the title. Intimate Moody Fairy Tale Wedding in Red Deer, Alberta. Let me switch over here, make sure we got everything going. So I'm going to do this a little bit differently this time. I'm going to watch through the video in full. You will hear me talk through it a bit. But I was kind of starting and stopping last time I did this, and I decided I'm going to try it this way. We'll see So I'll go through it, talk through it while it's going a little bit, but then I'll kind of go back and share some thoughts. So without further ado, here is A Wedding from Visionary Films. Oh, and last thing. I think I have everything set up. I think everything was fine last time, but if you guys are like, oh, I'm not getting video audio or something like that, let me know.
Three years ago, I was confiding in a friend about Ashley. I told him, I cannot stop thinking about her.
Love that flower crown.
I'm in trouble. Little did I know.
It's an awesome shot, some negative space.
That same week you had a similar conversation with a friend. Oh my God, I like my new manager. I'm in trouble. We started dating shortly after, and my entire world changed.
Some good audio to work with too, man. That's some nice little intro.
In this extraordinary life, you are gravity. And because I love you, I will find a way to be your gravity, even when I am lost in space. And when you lose yourself in uncertainty, or hardship, or heartache, I will tell you, we have each other precisely as we are.
Oh, that's a sweet space.
Some poets promise eternity, the world, the moon, and the stars in the sky.
Whoa.
Some promise immortalization in words, in song. Some promise perfection.
You look good, honey.
Yeah? I've not these to give. I promise patience and the space to know you are loved precisely as you are. Most days I am not a poet. Most days I am too tired and too worn,
I like
or too
that.
restless, or too subdued.
Colors in it.
But when I am these things, when I lose myself in this vast and strange and meaningless world, you tell me we have each other.
I vow to create a household and raise children with you as partners and as equals. To always put us first, to lead and constantly work to grow together. I vow to be there for you through the fumbles and the criticals. I vow to take care of you when you're having an off day, when you were sick, or when you somehow managed to roll both your ankles.
I hope that never happens again.
Again, some really good colors on a lot of the couple stuff. Good clean audio.
Braden, you may kiss
A little bit of wind there, but you know what? That happens. We're gonna come back and talk about that real quick. This is cool. It looks like a little bit of a backyard wedding, which can be tough, right? I mean, it can be hard. Nice lighting. Yeah, I can see your light there, which I don't mind. I don't mind being able to see the light. I don't think that's a huge deal. Especially this is a backyard. It's pretty tight, you know.
I
A
love
little
you,
deer or whatever that
and I
was.
can't wait to continue to grow with you.
All right, so let's dive into this. Overall, I mean, phenomenal. Like, this is a very good, very well done. You had some awesome, awesome audio to work with. Your camera movement was intentional, and not, not jerky or fast or anything like that. It was all smooth, slow, intentional movement. You did use a lot of slow motion to do that, which I don't really use slow motion, but tons of people do. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Yeah, I'm seeing you. I don't know if we're like delayed, a few seconds, but I'm seeing you saying that it was a cramped space, which you can just tell, right? When you walk in, like, it's a backyard wedding, which is tough. I mean, that makes it really hard. You have, not only is it cramped just in like the tightness, but it just gives you a lot, like, you don't have a lot of looks to work with, right? So super good job there. I want to rewatch just this first intro thing. So this, like, you completely fade out music. This is using like the end of the song or something like that. I think it's the same song. This, like, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't hate it, but it just feels like its own, like, it feels like, when you're watching like a TV show or something and then it plays like a 15-second, I mean, this wasn't even 15 seconds. What is this? 8 seconds? On TV, like a 15-second, like, it feels like a half commercial for the same thing you're watching or whatever. Like, it almost doesn't feel necessary. I think that you could do this, but if you do, I would use it more as like an intro to the film. It's like its own, truncated thing the way it is right now. And it's so short. And I also don't think it's your best shots necessarily. Like, you're opening on a shot of the leaves. It's not a bad shot. There's nothing wrong with this shot, but it's not your best shot either. And then like this, I don't think this is your best shot of the couple. This is a good one, the closer one, I think. Like, there's nothing wrong with this, and it's awesome, and I like it. And it totally fits, and it totally works. I'm just saying I think you have better ones. So if you're just going to plug 3 shots in, and then I think the other thing for me is that it totally fades to black. It goes completely silent for like 3-ish seconds, which feels like a long time. And then you cut to another shot of, leaves, trees, whatever. And it's like, kind of, you're just like rebooting exactly what you just did, almost, if that makes sense. All right, I'm seeing, some people hate it, some people love it. No in between. Shoot, do I got to take a side then? If I had to take a side, I would either integrate it better so that it's a smoother transition into the video. And in doing so, one thing you could maybe do for it is make that intro like a little bit longer even. Like, it's a little like, it's almost like a little 20-second like teaser with some of your best shots of the couple, some of your favorite, this shot. Although I will say, if you cut it, which I think is also an option, I would start like, I don't think this shot that you're starting the actual film on is what I'm going to call this section, is like your best shot. I think the first shot of leaves is way better. It's way more interesting, way more colorful. Like, this is just a lot of blown out or cloudy sky, a big black silhouette of a tree, and a bunch of, like, for the most part, dead looking trees. Like, it looks like this is probably somewhat recent, end of fall. I don't know what Alberta's like, I guess. But, it just looks, I think you could have a better shot to open on. So it could give you use of you could use these later if you cut it, or, whatever you want to do. I really, really like your colors on these, like, these couple shots specifically. Actually, I'm going to turn this down so I can talk over it.
3 years ago,
I already mentioned, I think these are killer
Ashley.
vows.
I told him, I cannot stop thinking about her. I'm in trouble.
I like that. I really like the use of negative space. I think I said that in the road, leading lines, and whatever.
You had a similar conversation with a friend.
Let's see.
Oh my god, I like my new manager.
Oh, I think that was photographer in the back. That's not really, it's one of those things, right? Like, it happens to all of us. You can communicate. I mean, my thing that I would always say is make sure you're communicating, which I'm not saying you didn't. But also this being a backyard wedding, that can throw a wrench in things. Like you said, it's a tight space. You all need to get what you need to get, and sometimes there can be, there's only so much room, and they need a shot too, and so sometimes it happens. But if that was a big thing to you, especially because right now, like, she's got a good reaction, she's laughing. So if you did have your other camera, which was over here, the angle on her, you can maybe cut to that instead right there when you see the photographer or something. But I don't think it's a huge deal.
Trouble. We started dating shortly after, and my entire world changed.
I like the, I think you added in that like whoosh effect, which I tend to like. I think it can impact a transition, but I don't know that there's enough like movement in this transition to like where it has the effect it can have, if that makes sense maybe. And then I know there's a shot later here, so that's like dress. This looks, this maybe looks a little bit dark to me, but I like these shots. And then there's a shot here. I think it's maybe the next one. Yeah, this one. This one to me seems like confusing on what is this shot of. Like, I would have probably taken down the dress for the shot, because at this point you moved on to like establish. And I think the dress like just doesn't. It's very much an afterthought in this shot, right? The center of your frame is all the chairs. You've just come from a few shots of the chairs. So this seems out of place a little bit, and also maybe a little out of focus on the dress, which is fine because that's not what you're focusing on. But yeah, I think it would have been. I think the shot would be cool if it. I mean, the shot is cool and it works, but. All right, if you guys are, if you're getting a choppy live stream, let me see if I can just make. Bump this down to 720, see if that helps. I like these, really nice use of window light, just the lighting in general. I'm going to scrub through while we go to some of this. Again, good vows. Yeah, you just said the bride was a writer, which that kills it. You can't beat that. All right, so right here, I really like, these are just like simple. This is what I talk about when, I'm always like, I'm a big proponent of not using a gimbal early on in your career. And my reason for that is that I think that people, they don't, how should I say this? Focus on some of the core values of being a film to learn as a filmmaker. And one of those things is, you can have movement, you can have movement in frame, you can have a gimbal, there's nothing wrong with that, but you rely on it too much and you lose things like this, this is just a simple, well framed, you have something in the foreground right here, maybe a plant or something like that, well exposed, interesting looking frame. And I know it's basic and it's simple and there's nothing like crazy that you did here, but that's totally okay and it works well. I like the use again of this. I like the use of the light spots and how that's where it draws your eye to the shoes. So I think this is a great shot. You have another one right after this of the vow book, I believe.
And when you lose.
Yeah, all these are just simple, well framed, well exposed, shots, and I think they work great. And I wish there was more of this. Like, there's nothing wrong with not having movement in a shot. There's nothing wrong with just having a beautiful shot just like this. So I like that. Scrubbing through here, I want to get to see if there was something in this. Your video is choppy. I keep getting this error popping up that I've never seen, so I don't know if this is affecting you guys. Let me know and I'll try to switch some stuff up if I can. Again, really good use of light. Really nice soft fall off. I think this space is so cool. I imagine that's just in the house and I'm a big fan.
Some poets promise eternity, the world, the moon, and the stars in the sky.
Whoa.
Some promise immortalization, in words, in song. Some promise perfection.
You look good, honey.
Yeah?
So one thing I would maybe do is, well, I don't know. This is just thought. Of course, you need to fit in what you need to fit in. But if you would have showed the dad before his reaction and then showed her walking down the stairs and then his reaction, because you show him without any context really, like, you know, we know what it is. Obviously, they know what it is. Most people who make wedding films know what it is. But just a small thing you could kind of set up. You're kind of establishing, like, what is happening. Again, not a big thing at all. But yeah.
I have not these to give. I promise patience and the space to know you are loved precisely as you are.
So this shot, to me, like, I could take it or leave it. There's nothing that interesting about it. To me, like, I know this is probably their backyard or their setting or maybe where you took them for couples photos, or maybe that's the same thing. But, yeah, I just think, you know, maybe getting closer, like here with the leaves and the water running or something like that. I know there is movement to it, which is nice, but that's a shot that I could kind of take or
I am
leave.
not a poet.
I like this.
Most days I am too tired and too worn, or
Let's see. All right, you guys are saying that it's choppy. Why? All right. Well, we'll see if it
too
stabilizes.
restless or too subdued. But when I am these things, when I lose myself
That's
in
probably
this
just 'cause I
vast
paused
and
it.
strange and meaningless world, you tell me we have each other.
Yeah, these shots, the color on this, so good. And that's a great use. So I talked about this in my last live stream, is the use of, you know, the use of music and using points of the film that impact, you know, have an emotional impact. So you clearly understand what you're doing with that. That was a great, you know, transition, I guess is what you call it, to her coming down the aisle. Really good job with that. Emotional, impactful, high note, a, you know, build up, if you will, of the song. So
I vow to create a household and raise children with you as partners, and to lead and follow.
go a little bit further here.
For you through the fumble.
Okay, this shot to me, this doesn't fit the feel of a lot of your, like, I like the shot, but I think it's maybe the color or just kind of the exposure in general. A lot of your stuff with the couple is a little darker. Their skin is a little warmer. I'm not going to pull this into like an editor and look at the color or exposure or something like this, but this this feels a little brighter to me than the rest of your stuff. Granted, you are more, I mean, this could be right out in the sun or something like that, and before you were more like in the woods, in the forest. But yeah, I don't know, maybe you could even just darken it a little bit. And again, super small, minute detail.
I vow to take care of you when you were having an off day, when you were sick, or when you somehow managed to
Really good
roll over
couples
your
photos though, really good emotion.
I hope that never happens again.
Got some leaves falling here. So that's another shot similar to the stream. I could take or leave this. There's just nothing like, you know, nothing about that tree to my knowledge is unique to their day. And it's just kind of whatever. It's not a bad shot. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I don't know how much it's really adding to the film.
Braden, you may kiss your
I mentioned the wind in this. You can obviously see it. That's just a timing thing. That's life sometimes. All right, that is a big, so that to me is probably the first thing in this film that I said, like, this is a for sure change to me. That is a jump cut. It is not even a big jump cut, right? It's like, I don't even know if you might have switched cameras, but like, that's like they've moved like 2 feet forward. It, like, to me as a viewer, especially as a wedding filmmaker, that like just, it's very, very jarring to me. It takes me out of the film, and even as somebody who isn't in the wedding filmmaking world, that is the reason why you typically don't do jump cuts, because even to the average viewer, that is going to be that is going to be jarring, and it is going to remove them from the story of the film. So I would I imagine this is already delivered, so it is what it is at this point. But in the future, I would avoid that at all costs. I really do think that in the whole film, that's the only thing that I was like, this is like, that's actually one of the things that I would say. I think I actually have a video. I like write scripts, right, for all my videos, not my live streams, but for all the other videos. And I have just this like huge running list of scripts, and that is one of the things that I say is one of like the big mistakes. I would definitely. All right, we're back. So, let's see, guys. Let me know if this is any better. If this isn't, I'm not actually sure what is going on. I don't know if it's an internet issue today or something. But with that said, I'm going to shuffle into the next film, which I got to bring up here real quick. So I've got these in like another page or whatever, so that they don't show, so you guys don't see like what's coming up and just a bunch of stuff and whatever, stuff like that. So just got to situate it, and then we'll be good to go. Hey, what's up, Mark from the UK? Yeah, okay, so just to touch back on that visionary, I think you're talking about that jump cut. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, like, you know, I'd probably have to see it to make like a totally clear like call on that, I guess, if you will. Like I said, I don't think it's, you know, it's not, we have to understand in these live streams, in these critiques, I don't know what you're working with. I could tell that it was a backyard wedding. I could tell, you know, definitely some issues and stuff that I assume you probably ran up against, but ultimately I don't know, you know, I don't know everything that's going on. So things like that are things that that you do know. So like I said at the very beginning, you know, these are my opinions, and these are take them or leave them, but hopefully they're helpful. So, all right, we are going to move on to our next film. This is from DeLuca Films. Get it queued up here, and I'll be doing the same thing. So I'm going to be watching through this film as we go, and then giving some more like critique after, but I will talk during it as well. So switching over here to our double view. And I love this freeze frame to start out with. Just really good colors and good emotion, of course, as well.
To my beautiful wife.
That's a good
You made me
shot.
the happiest man imaginable. You're the most beautiful woman in the world. Cannot wait to spend the rest of our days together. Since I've met you, you've made me such a better man. You're everything I am not, and you complete me. I love you with all my heart. Here's to forever, Ashkam, Nicholas.
Nicholas had been dating Borgia for a few years, and he was telling me how.
Really good
he knew
colors
she
and
was the
stuff
one he
here.
wanted
This
to
is
marry.
and super
asked him.
smooth.
How he knew wasn't.
Nicholas, every choice you have made has led to this very moment, and I don't
Really
think
like
there's
that.
any better place to be than where we are right now.
Let's raise a glass to toast the beautiful bride, Borgia.
We are so proud of the woman you have become accomplish great things. You and Nicholas are such a wonderful couple. We are so happy to see our family grow. We love you so much, and we are so happy for you guys.
both fun, intelligent, kind, hardworking, occasionally sarcastic, but most of all, you are compassionate. I see you as both deeply compassionate people. Every person here, including me, is blessed to have you in our life. Nicholas Carl Lutzman, Borja Bayraktar.
It's a little fast for me, but
this man to be your wedded partner?
we're going to talk through some of that
Will
here
you have
soon.
this woman to be your wedded partner? Will you love her, comfort her, honor
Really
and
good
keep her
emotion.
in sickness and in health, and forsaking all others, be faithful to him so long as you both shall live?
I do.
All right, real quick, popping in, guys. I think I figured out what the stream issue was, so let me know at this point. I think you're a little bit behind me, but let me know at this point if it is solved, if it is not choppy anymore. I am embarrassed to say, I think I was backing up a wedding to Google Drive. I thought I had turned it off. I usually make sure that I have. It's not something that shows up in my, the way my screens are set up, I don't see it when I'm doing these live streams. So I think that's what it was. Now I'm getting an excellent rating. So yeah, let me know, guys, in the comments if this is all smooth now. All right, guys, good to know. Glad it's solved. Sorry about that. Yeah, man, these colors are like, it's something a little, it's like brighter, and I like it. I think the thing, you know, now is darker, moodier, which I like too. There's nothing wrong with either, but it's cool to see, you know, somebody going with the brighter look and doing it well, of course. A little pumpier music. I like that. Did they just all like destroy their suits or what? Really good father-daughter dance. That's awesome. A nice lighting too for the reception.
With the right ingredients, a heap of love, a dash of humor, a touch of romance, and a spoonful of health. Love you both. Cheers.
Sweet. All right, so let's jump back here. Overall, awesome film. That's 2 in a row that I really like. They're well done. One thing I'm going to just say, but I could very well be wrong. This is something you got to look at it in your editor. I'm using, you know, whatever these are, not AirPods, the corded version, you know, that comes with the iPhone or whatever, because it's the only corded headphones I have for something like this. I want, here, let's go on an actual frame here. To me, a lot of the audio, like the voice, vocals, stuff like that, sounds a little quiet. I think that it could maybe be turned up. But again, just look at that in your editor and make sure it's at the levels that you want. It sounded a little quiet to me, but like I said, just with the setup, I don't want to for sure comment on that because I'm not really in the, you know, right space to do something like that. So coming through this, I love these shots. Your colors are beautiful. It's so smooth. Like, even though I don't even know what this is this like fog or smoke? Like, I know, like, okay, right here it's like blown out, but it just looks so cool. I really like this.
The rest of our days together. Since I've met you, you've made me such a better man. You're everything I am not, and you complete me. I love you with all my heart. Here's to forever, Ashkam, Nicholas.
Oh, so that's one thing I do want to comment on. I've commented on this, I think, in the last one too, personally. So this is just my opinion. I'm a fan of having them each read the letter that they wrote. I think that you had them read the letter they received. Of course, we want to film them reading that as well. But for audio's sake, I want the letter that they wrote. Just because for me, I think it sometimes can take you out of the film hearing things like, you know, like the woman's voice saying, "I can't wait to be your wife," when you know it is not a same-sex couple. Not, you know, when you've already established it's a bride and groom, it can be just weird to hear that. It kind of can confuse the viewer. Of course, there are plenty of reasons to do it the way that you did it, or the way I think you did it as well, which can consist of a lot of things, including just timing and the day and the way things run. But that's my personal opinion. I do prefer it that way. So yeah. I would also, one other thing, I would maybe change your font here. Like, you have this very beautiful, elegant couple and style and vibe of the day, and you have this very rigid, thick font, and I don't think that it meshes, so I think I would maybe change that. You also, your logo, which I'm not going to pop to, but your logo is like more, you know, free-flowing and whatever, so yeah, I just don't think it fits your branding.
Nicholas had been dating Borgia for a few
I
years.
really love these shots.
And
Really
he
nice
was telling
lighting.
me how he knew she was the one he wanted to marry. I
Super
asked
nice
him
shot there.
how he knew.
Would have been nice. I don't know, you know, how hands-on you can get. I also don't know if this is attached, but might have been nice to take this piece of paper out. Unfortunately, I don't know how much anybody charged. I do, if they do submit their pricing guide, I guess I technically maybe have the information of where their pricing starts or what their packages might look like, but I don't ask for how much people charge. And the reason that I don't is just that everybody's, you know, markets, like everybody's all over the place, and I think I can speak a lot to quality and in terms of how that should relate to a pricing in the U.S. market. Yes, there are markets within the U.S. market, small town, big city, you know, whatever. But in general, I think that you can make it at any price point, no matter where you're located. I do believe that. But what happens and what's difficult with Wedding Film School is we have such an international audience that I can't really speak to other, like even, you know, our first one was from Canada. I just don't know what the Canadian market is like, and that could be a big difference due to a lot of factors that I wouldn't be aware of. So I don't know how much people charged. If they do want to say, they're welcome to throw it in the chat. I will certainly tell them if I think they should charge more. But so far, both these, I hope are charging good money because I think that they are both worth it.
How he knew.
But yeah, I would have taken out
she
that
was
piece of
the one.
paper.
His response was that Borgia was everything he wasn't.
Nicholas, every choice you have made has led to this very moment.
I really like that
and
dress
I don't
shot.
think there is any better place to be.
And that was one thing I want to say. So this dress shot is like this smooth close up coming down, and it's slow, and it's you know, not that the other one isn't steady, but this one is like you know, just slow and gentle. The next shot after it feels a little more forced and quick.
To this very moment. And I
like this feels like whimsical, dreamy, and then this feels like a video, kind of, if that makes sense. I would have maybe made this just a little more subtle on the movement.
Than where we are right now.
Let's raise a glass to toast the beautiful bride, Borgia.
That's a really cool shot.
We
I
are so
like
proud
that.
of the woman you have become, Borgia, and we know that you will continue.
Got the groom reveal. That's cool. I don't know if I've ever really seen that.
You and Nicholas are such a wonderful
I like that
couple.
too, how it's kind of juxtaposed,
We are
right? You have the
so
groom
happy
reveal and then the bride reveal.
To see our family grow. We love you so much, and we are so happy.
Nice
for you guys.
reaction, really good reaction. This shot feels a little out of place to me, but yeah, I don't know. I guess that is like kind of set. Like I imagine maybe you didn't have time to go get ceremony establishing shots, and that's kind of what you're using in place of that. So I totally understand why that happens.
You are both fun.
Got a nice phone here, but what are you gonna do? That's kind of out of our hands.
Intelligent, kind, hardworking, occasionally sarcastic, but most of all, you are compassionate. I see you as both deeply compassionate people.
So one thing I'm going to get into a little bit later with you, or on this, is your use of handheld filming, and you kind of shift from this, the first, what are we? We're not quite halfway, but around halfway. You shift from this like slow, subtle, very, not that handheld isn't polished. I don't know what the word is that I want to use, but very intentional movement to a more handheld style, and you kind of go through, we're kind of in this phase right now where it's kind of both are popping up, and then later you get into like all handheld, and your music kind of goes in line with that, if that makes sense. Like it lines up and it seems very intentional, which I think is cool. There are a few handheld shots that I think were a little too handheld for my liking. All right, we're gonna add a dog into this mix. Sorry, she's whining. So, everybody, this is Kodak. She'll be sitting on my lap for the rest of this. But yeah, so your handheld stuff is, there are a couple shots in there that I thought were like a little too, none of these yet. I think it's later in the reception. But I do like, and I acknowledge that difference between like, you're going between two almost styles and looks, and that's like really impressive in itself, but also combining it in a way that does flow and doesn't like take the viewer way out, I think is impressive. I think that's tough to do, so props to you for that.
Every person here, including me, is blessed to have you in our life.
Okay, this shot right here, I don't think that's handheld. I think it's on a gimbal. Maybe it's handheld, I don't know. This is like, just, it's very, very fast to me, especially coming from what has been a very intentional, subtle movement thing. I think this is a lot of speed and a lot of movement. You haven't covered that much ground in any other shot, and I think it is a little bit like, I think as a viewer, it maybe takes you out of the story a little bit. I think it maybe, it almost feels like, a mistake, almost, if that makes sense. And that, as the viewer, I think is like, oh, whoa, was that intentional?
Carl Lutzman.
Just because you're covering so much ground.
Will you have this man to be your wedded partner? Will you have this?
I'd actually be really curious. I don't know if you're in the chat, but whether you're in the chat right now or later, if you watch this, I'm sure I'll tag you and make sure that I reviewed your film. I would love to know a little bit about like your theory behind switching between what looks like stable gimbal slow motion shots to a lot more of handheld, real time. I would just love to know like how you approach that. Like we kind of do a little bit of both as well. And there are reasons that we approach different days in different ways and different parts of the day in different ways. And I'd just love to hear your thoughts on how you approach that.
Wedded partner. Will you love her, comfort her, honor and keep her in sickness and in health, and forsaking all others, be faithful to him so long as you both shall live?
I do.
I do.
Nice way to fit in some family. We do that too with family photos or whatever they are, but it's nice. It's a good way to fit in some people who might not have been there in other parts of the day.
And the giving and receiving of rings before God.
Again, really liking the colors.
And the authority vested in me, I now pronounce you.
This seems a little bit okay, so you can see his mouth moving. It seems like a couple frames off audio wise. I could be wrong on that. Again, I don't think anything lags with plugged in headphones, but looks like it might be a couple frames off. Maybe just check that.
Vested in me, I now pronounce you wife and husband. Nick, you may now kiss the bride.
That one looks on though. It was just the other angle, I think. So this is kind of where you switch to all fast, or a fast-paced song, with a lot more handheld. I like that. That's some crazy stuff. So that would be one thing I would just say, like, some of these handheld shots, I don't know if, if your whole film was like this, I don't know if I would feel the same way, but some of them just feel a little too much, like a little bit too much movement in the handheld way or whatever, while handheld. I don't know what I'm trying to say. So I'd be curious to either try to be a little more subtle with your movement, not cover so much ground while you're handheld, or maybe if the whole film was like that, maybe it wouldn't feel as jarring, but at least, like, I know you did try to ease into it, and there are still some slow motion, still some gimbal shots and stuff like that, but yeah, I don't know. Some of these just feel like a little jarring with the amount of movement. Nice use of your light there. I did mention that I really like the lighting in this in general. I think you did a good job. You do have a lot of, like, really good shots in this of different people and, what's going on and stuff. So I do like that. Really like the colors on all this stuff. I think there's a jump cut right here. Yeah, that. So I mentioned a jump cut in the last film review as well. Yeah, some of this could be a tight lens on a gimbal. I just saw your comment. That's very possible. Some of this, yeah, I don't know. Either one, I think my comments still stand true no matter how you're accomplishing it. So this right here, this was a jump cut. It's basically the exact same framing. I think you did push in a tiny bit. But it, went from her being here to them kissing. One of those things, sometimes you got to use it. I think you could maybe cut in another shot in between even, like that'll get rid of the jump cut. Just going from one shot that's the same setup to the exact same angle, like typically you want at least 15 degrees rotation, at least. I think that's what it is, 15 degrees rotation, to just make the shot look a little bit different so that your background is not the exact same, essentially, between that shot and like I said, it's a tiny bit closer right there, but it's still essentially the same thing. So I think jump cuts are jarring for me. I kind of went over it 20 minutes ago with the last film. Yeah, jump cuts are jarring for me. I don't like them. They take me out as a viewer. They take me out as a filmmaker of the story that you've created and the world you've created. So yeah, I really like this stuff. That's a really good establishing shot for a sparkler exit.
A heap of love, a dash of humor.
And I also love, okay, this is clearly dark. One thing you can do is you can add a light to this. A lot of times I will actually add 2 lights. So a lot of times what I'll do, although my first comment was going to be, I actually really like kind of the noise. It feels like just this like grain, and I just like the feel that it gives it. But if you didn't want that and you wanted more proper exposure, what I will usually do is I'll throw up a light on a really big stand, like 10, 12 feet or something, way back here, and I'll backlight them. It'll just be like this, starburst looking light source way back here. And then if I have a second shooter with me, I'll have them maybe follow me, like they'll be right next to me with a more softer, diffused light on the couple, and then that can just help get rid of some of this noise from. I'm sure this was just shot really high ISO, which there's nothing wrong with that. But
a dash of humor,
a touch of romance,
a little speed ramp. Oh yeah, so that looks like one. I don't know if that's you or your second shooter or something.
Of health. Love you both. Cheers.
One other thing I would say, I would end on a shot of the couple. I would not end on, I don't know if this is, the mother of the bride, or I don't know who it is, but whoever it is, I would not end on a shot of them. I would end on a shot of the couple. So I would show her to establish who's talking, because I don't think she's been shown yet in the film. I would show her a little bit earlier, like, you know, here, or something like that. I think she talks starting from like here. So I would show her a little bit earlier and then end on, you know, this shot, or end on, you know, one of your shots from like out in the field with them or something, or a little sequence of that or something like that. So, yeah, I think, let's see. I think that's all I've got on that film. So we will move on to the next one. And let me get it pulled up here. While I'm getting it pulled up, good reminder for you all. Let me go ahead and find these real quick. If you want to have your film reviewed, or your website, or your pricing, I just put it in the chat. So go ahead to that link, fill out our little form, make sure you link or at least give me the title and the artist and the website that is licensed from, so that I can license your music for this. If I don't license your music, I'm going to get in trouble on YouTube, which can be a variety of different things, some more intense, some less intense, but I don't want to deal with that. So make sure you link me in that form. There is a spot for it. I've also added a new spot, a new question. If you've already filmed, or if you've already filled it out, I've added a new question that is asking you a little bit about the day. Like, I want to know, what did you shoot on? You know, what were some challenges you saw? Because that helps me get a little more familiar with what you might have been up against, and it can kind of help me know what I need to comment on and what I maybe don't need to comment on. Also, on that note, we have our memberships available. So if you are interested in being a member, you can go ahead to this link, which I'll post. And that is going to be, there's different tiers of membership. It works like Patreon. You're basically just supporting this channel, which we greatly appreciate. And we try to give back in ways that are useful to you. The first of which being, at any tier, you're going to get priority in these live streams to get your stuff reviewed. So it's not a guarantee, you know, if we have 1,000 members, I can only review so often, but I will keep track of who of those members are reviewed and who haven't been, and you'll always get priority. And then there are upper tiers, so that's the base tier. It starts at just $5 a month. I think you can cancel any month you want or something. I don't really know how it works, but then there are upper tiers as well, working its way up to a private film review. I can do it on the live stream if you don't care, but I can also do it privately for you. It will be a setup just like this, although I'll be able to spend even more time because I'm not rushing to try and get through, you know, 4 or 5 films in one sitting. So go ahead and check those out. We'd love to add you guys as a member, get more of this community in there. And before we move on, I'm going to tackle this question here. So somebody said, let's see, about licensed music through programs like Soundstripe. So yes, you just need to ideally just link. You can just go to the song and then you can copy the link and put it in there. Or give me the title of the song and the artist. I can find it that way at least. It doesn't need to be right now, so we license through Soundstripe and through MusicBed. We don't have partnerships or affiliates with any other song licensing site, so we are working on that. We'll try to get an ability to use their songs in these review settings, but for right now, Soundstripe or MusicBed is what we're doing, and those are also the two music licensing sites that we like the best. I could go on and on about why. MusicBed, hands down my favorite. I've literally used it since they opened. Like, I don't know, like probably from day one I've been a member there. It used to be where you had to pay with every song, so I love the membership now. It saves me a ton of money. But yeah, anyway, so let's go ahead, and I said I was going to be pulling up this next one, and I was chatting away instead. So let's find it here. Alright, the next one is a teaser. So it'll be a little bit shorter. It's also hosted on Facebook for whatever that's worth. So if you see a bunch of weird notifications pop up while I'm trying to watch this, you know why. Get this queued up.
Melissa Shanice Mongello.
Sorry, guys. Bring this back. Facebook autoplays. So what are you going to do? Putting this over here. I'm going to take a little sip of water here. That was a big sip, but I went through 2 videos, so I earned it. All right, Restless Media, if you submit today, will I get to it today? It is unlikely. There's always a chance during a stream that I will get, the amount of videos I want done in a shorter time frame than I had planned on, sitting down to review stuff. But with that said, one of the things is that if you submit it today, I mean, ideally, I would have a second person running these live streams with me, but we're not at that point yet. And if I did have that, then in the background, they could be looking up your song licenses, adding it to our license for this live stream. But the way it is with just me doing it, I need to do a lot of prep work to get those licenses in and get things kind of pulled up and situated. If I were to do it, you guys would just be spending time, like, it wouldn't be a ton of time, but some amount of time just watching me do that, and that just seems kind of like a waste of everybody's time. So, but with that said, when you submit, because we've had, a bunch of submissions over the past handful of weeks that we've been doing this now, when you submit, you do get added into the queue, and I'm gonna move this out of the way. My focus keeps grabbing that. So you get added into the queue, and we will, keep you on that queue. You're not like gone. If you submitted this week and I didn't get to it today, it's not like you're gone. You're still in the queue. We'll get to it eventually. We're slowly working through the queue. So you are still in it or whatever. So anyway, let's go ahead and switch over to this screen and bring up our next one. And I forget who it's from. I will look as soon as we finish it. And again, this is a teaser, so.
Melissa Shanice Mongello, I love you so much. I vow to love and cherish you forever. Your imperfections, if I can ever find any, will only serve to make me love you more. To me, you're perfect. You can light up a whole room with just your laugh or smile. And for this reason, I promise to make you laugh and smile as often as possible. I truly believe that you were designed for me, and I for you. I will love you. I will be your husband. Most importantly, I will support, and I promise to weather any challenge that arises in this path that God has set for you. What is mine is yours, and what is yours is mine, and what is chocolate is yours. I love you, Melissa.
Sweet. All right, well, I figured I'd just watch that one and then go through it. So I'm going to turn this down a little bit so I can talk while we go. I like this shot. I actually like a lot of your shots. There's this like kind of cool, like just use of like light and shadows. You did it with the next shot, I think, which is the shot of that house. And then you did it with the ring and stuff like that. This one, like this is a little bit blown out. I don't know when you're flying. I don't know if you're using, ND filters or something like that. But yeah, it's still a good shot.
I love you so much.
I really like this shot. I just think that's really cool.
Your imperfections, if I can ever find,
and I really like this shot as well.
Will only serve to make me love you more. To me, you're perfect. You can light up a whole room.
So like your look, you kind of have this like soft, like gentle coloring look, or I don't know what you call it. And I think that works really well. Some nice flare there, which I like.
As often as possible.
This shot I really like. So I do, I'll stop when it's on there. So I do a lot of stuff like this too, where you're setting up rings in a dark spot. I usually like doing it with like reflections and stuff too. And you're using lights, and I don't know if you're using prisms or something as well to just go around it and get some cool effects. This is awesome. I love ring shots like this. I think this is a great ring shot.
And I for you. I will love you. I will be your husband. Most importantly, I will support, and I promise.
So the only other big thing that I would say about this, like I like a lot of your shots and stuff like that. A lot of your, so I would think about what is the purpose of your teaser? I don't know what this full film looks like or what any of your full films look like. But a big thing with teasers that I always like to say is, and a big thing that really made me shift how I do my teasers is, why a teaser? What is the point? Is it to get people to want to watch the full film? Is it to get something out quick, within a couple days so that they have something to share on social media and it works as good marketing for you? Is it, whatever other reason you might have, but like, just be intentional about what you want it to be. I'm not saying that you haven't been. I'm just saying I think it's important to know that you're intentional about what purpose you want your teaser to solve or serve, and make sure that that is the number one priority in what it serves. That this could very well be doing that. I'm not saying that it's not. I'm just saying make sure that it is. Just because it's a teaser and it's the only teaser that I'm reviewing today, I think. Also, I would consider using, so you use his vows. I don't know if it's the whole vows or just part of it. I would think about mixing that up. Like, I think you can totally use his vows. I think maybe her vows should also be in it then, personally. Or something else. Or even if it was just his vows, but it's not his vows for I think he's been talking this whole time. We're 46 seconds in. I think it ends with a few seconds. So it's basically just his vows the whole time. You could even just break it up, right? Like, take some of them out so you have some of him talking, some where you can just let the music do its job. Yeah, I don't know. Just a thought.
And what is chocolate is yours.
And then that too, he has a little joke about chocolate, which is you can hear people laughing, right? It's funny. It's personal to them. But all the other stuff that he says throughout this entire thing is serious. And so for a teaser, I don't know, it's kind of like juggling two different emotions almost. Yeah, again, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing bad about it. It's just being intentional, I think, about what you want it to do. Really like that shot. And I think that would be the only other thing I would say is, I'd say two other things. One, you're ending on this it's this hit to go to that shot of the house, and then it's just this slow it's kind of just it just kind of goes into nothingness. I think it could be ended with more impact somehow. And I don't know if that's through sound effects. I don't know if that's through finding a different part of the song. It's just I think it could leave the audience wanting more rather than, right, the viewer, so the potential bride that sees this, or all their friends and family that maybe see this, and now if it was a little more impactful, a little more oh my gosh, I can't wait to see the full film, it just kind of dies out. And I think that is counterintuitive to what is typically the intention of a teaser. And then the only other thing that I would say, this was the second thing I want to say, is I would like to see more from the day. I like all the couple shots, I like the few drone shots you have, but that's kind of all that is happening in this. I don't know what their day was like. Maybe it's an elopement, maybe there wasn't really other stuff. But you did hear people laughing at his joke and his vows about the chocolate, so I think there were other people there. I think there were other parts to the day. Kodak is popping up her head. Welcome to Kodak. But yeah, I just think maybe if you have other good shots, maybe mix in some of that to really make it a teaser of the film to come. I think this was it. Yep. All right, let's just go. I just want to say who that was by because I didn't look at it. It's Chiola Films. So there you go. There's your review. Of course, that one pretty short because it is it is a teaser, so it's a shorter film. Let's see. We'll for sure get one more in. How long have we been going? 1 hour and 8 minutes. All right, we'll cut this one down. I'll bring in one of the other ones here. Once again, guys, go ahead and submit your films at the link, which is in the chat. It's in the description. Submit those films, websites, or pricing guides. You can submit all three. I will keep you on the list even if I don't get to it today. Give you some critique. And you can, of course, guarantee to get a review and priority reviews on these live streams of all three of those things by becoming a member, which you can do in a link that is posted there as well. And starts at just $5 a month, and you help support this channel and get some awesome benefits as well. There's different tiers, and you can check that out. Bring this next one up. I'm gonna take a sip of water as well. I'm hitting that 2-3 video spot, you know. Starting to get a sore throat. Talking way more today than I do ever. I usually just sit and edit. All right, so let's go ahead and switch over. This is, oh my gosh, I do not even know how to pronounce this. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna just look up the company name real quick. I don't know how to pronounce the names of the people. This is from Rachel Ann Media. And let's go ahead and start this. So this is, I'm going to just try Edelin and Dongwon and Edelin. So first things first, I could be wrong. I don't know this video, but it seems like you have Edelin in there twice, unless I'm missing something. So maybe just, oops, you guys can see all my notes for random stuff. Maybe just make sure that is correct.
We gather with you today, Dongwon and Edelin, to celebrate a beginning. We start before God and before all these people. The celebration of your life together as husband and wife. Today you declare your love for each other before God and all these people. Together you commit all of yourselves to each other for all time and for all to see. It is a beginning with God. It is a good beginning.
It's a cool shot. I like some subtle, you had some subtle like camera audio or shotgun audio there. I think this could have been a cool spot to have some of that audio too. Oh, I like that. What is that?
I, Dongwon Kim, take you, Edelin Barcena, to be my wife. Thus, she will be the rib on my bones and guard on my heart. At the same time, I will be the heart of her love and fountain of joy. So, as I promise to give you my best, I'm going to pray, read God's messages, and meditate every day to receive the endless love from God. And then I'll be loving and serve you forever.
It's a really good angle. That can be a really tough shot to get. What is up with that mic stand? That was like 12 feet tall. So I'm just doing subtle comments now, and then I'll be going back, of course, through this.
Hello. Hi. I remember when we first met, it was nothing so special. I thought I was just meeting somebody who would help translate pastor's sermon for me. But instead, I was meeting my forever. Today, I'm promising to love you endlessly, whenever we're together and apart, and even when we fight and I lose. I promise to trust you
respect you, and to support you as an individual, a partner, and an equal. I want to grow old with you, raise cute, tall babies with you, and to go on many adventures with you. I pray that God will continue to lead us and that we keep him at the
Really
center
like
of
that
our
shot.
relationship. I know I don't say it much, but today's a special day. I love you, Kim Dong-won.
I like that as well.
The awaited moment has come. The groom may now kiss the bride.
Good use of music. Building that up, or utilizing that high point. Nice ending shot. We'll go into this. I guess this is the ending shot, maybe. Alright, cool. So let's backtrack here. Real quick, Jared talking about going over pricing. If you've got a specific question, pop it in the chat. I'll try to talk if I can, but I do have the first live stream that I did, which was, maybe a month and a half ago. That one was reviewing pricing and websites. And I go into a lot of my theory on pricing, and you'll hear a lot of comments regarding good tactics to do and things to try in that live stream. So check that out, or post in here, or submit your pricing at the link that I've posted to submit, and you will be added to the list, and I can review your pricing. Okay, so going through this here, I liked a lot about this, but there were definitely some things that I would change too. So let's go here. I like all these shots, good establishing. Now, here's what I wouldn't do. This is, I think the mom is going to be my guess, or just a guest, I'm not sure. I would not show somebody else, so I like to start, sometimes I start with establishing shots, sometimes I start with the couple. I would definitely not start with, I would not show somebody else before I showed the couple. It's their wedding film. Even if this is the mom, even if that is a very important person in their lives, even if it is culturally significant, I still would not start, I would not show somebody else before the couple. That's what I would not do. And then your next shot after this is the couple, I believe. But here's the thing. This is a beautiful shot. Her flowers are awesome. Your movement is slow, subtle. It's nice. The flowers are in focus. But it's not a shot of the couple. You show the couple without showing them. You see his hair and his ear. You see her hand. You don't see her face. Especially right now when the background audio is talking about being husband and wife, I believe is what it ends on. Boom, that is just a perfect place. Even if you wanted to start with some establishing shots like you did of the lake and the, I don't know if it was the church entrance or something. This would be a point where you put in a shot of the couple, in my opinion, where you see them.
Of your life together as husband and wife. Today you declare your love for each other.
It's just some good detail shots.
For God and all these people.
And nice clean
Together,
audio too.
You commit all
this is maybe a little bright,
to each
but
other.
you can still see it. Okay, so this gets into the theory of I guess how you shoot a ceremony. I don't know if you're a single shooter. I don't know if you have 10 people. I'm not sure. But and I also don't know, this is important to say, I don't know what this setup is like. I don't think we ever see a wide shot, so I don't know what you're working with. With that said, if you have the ability to, I would bring this shot more this direction, right? So it's more to the right. You actually have a shot that seems like you maybe moved the camera at one point. Like, I get the point that you're seeing him too. But if you move this more to the right, you're going to see his face, and you're also going to catch a little bit of her face. So you're able to see some, you know, you can see how she's reacting. It could be smiling, it could be laughing, and obviously you're not right on her. You have another camera that's, you know, it's over here to get her reaction. But I would make these a little more, like, this is straight at her back, and the only reason this works is because he's significantly taller than her. But if they were a similar height, you wouldn't really see anything. So, yeah.
For all time and for all to see. It is a beginning with God. It is a good beginning.
I like this shot. I think that's just like, it's a cool, like, interesting shot. So I like that. I like this makeup shot. I don't know what you're coming across here, but a door or something like that. I like these two. You're showing some important people. There are some shots later here that like, okay, this, for example, right? Like, I just don't think her walking is important. And I think that's one thing that I would say about the film overall is that I think, so this is how long? This is 5.5 minutes. This could be a shorter film. Now, I don't know what your packages are like. I don't know what this couple purchased. I don't know what they expected. But I think this could be a shorter film. I think there are a handful of shots that you are sitting on a long time, like the one right before this seemed like a long shot to me. Not that it's bad. Not that it doesn't show good emotion. They're laughing. She's with important people. But you're just on it for a while. Or there are shots like this that I think don't really serve a purpose. So there's actually a whole sequence here coming up with them that I think are just kind of, they're just whatever shots, you know, and I don't know that they help out a ton. Unless they're, like, if it's the only shot you have of, like, her sister or somebody important, that can be a reason to put in a shot that, like, seems without a purpose or without a direction. But yeah, but like walking into the bathroom or whatever, or this, like, I think that's maybe her mom. It just doesn't, like, I don't know, like, they're not even, like, laughing or something like that. Sorry, I had my Raid software pop up for an update. Or like this one, she's like, what is she doing? Not this, right here, right here. She's like fixing her bra and somebody taking a purse off. Like, it just doesn't, I don't think that this is, like, your best shots, and therefore it feels like filler. And if it is filler, I think you should take a look at your packages and what you're offering, and you should be a lot more critical of, I mean, look, we're all businesses, right? You need to make money, and if somebody wants a 10-minute film and it's something you feel comfortable doing, sorry, Kodak is just having a time. If it's something you feel comfortable doing, then do it, and you need to make money, and that's fine. There's some amount of that, but you should also be making films that you love and that you're proud of, and I think that filler, for me, is something that I struggle with a lot. I will totally downsell somebody to a shorter film because I don't want filler in my films. I want my films to be something I'm proud of and that I love, and I'm very, like, aware of when I'm just adding in a shot because I need to hit the 5-minute mark or something like that, and I hate doing that. So that could very well be a personal thing, but something to think of. This one too, like, I think she's got bridesmaid dresses or whatever, and, you know, it's not a bad shot. It's well exposed. It's stable. It's whatever. She makes a face at the camera and smiles, but it's just kind of, like, my question, I guess what I would say is, and I won't harp on you anymore on this, would be, look at every shot that you put in there and ask yourself, why is this shot in here and why is it right here in the video? And if you can't distinctly say, oh, well, this is in here because it's a beautiful shot of the couple. Oh, this is in here because it's a shot of the rings. Oh, this is in here because it sets the scene of where we are. Oh, this is in here because, you know, XYZ, whatever. Then I think you should think about taking it out. It doesn't mean you have to, but it should be an option where you say, oh, well, does this serve a purpose? I like that shot a lot. It's really good interaction. You have good movement. I really like this shot too. And this, I don't know what this is. I'd actually, if you're in here right now, or if you watch this later, please comment. Let me know what this is. Like, it looks like red, like, flower petals, but they're going up. and there's nothing in between them. So I don't like, unless maybe you shot like really slow motion, dropped them, or I don't know. I'd love to know.
I, Dongwon Kim.
Okay, here's one other thing. I like a lot of your colors, like this bright look, and like I don't think you had the best circumstances to deal with. Like this looks like midday. It does look like you have some clouds, but you're under nothing, right? You're just straight up like in the sun or the light or whatever. But you handled it really well. Some of your shots, and again, so this says I'm at 1080. This is one of those things that like I don't love to comment on, like similar with like sound, because like I'm not really in an audio setup right now. I'm in a live stream setup. And I'm live streaming your videos through YouTube, and we all know that YouTube can be hit or miss. Some of your shots, in fact, a lot of them look a little soft to me. I don't know if you're relying on autofocus. I don't know if you're shooting wide open. Not that either of those are wrong, but I think something that you're doing is resulting in some soft focus. So just be aware of that, I guess. I don't know. Like this looks super sharp, good. Actually, that's another thing too. Your coloring looks a little bit different. With like a lot of your coloring looks like your grade or whatever looks like this shot, which I think kind of plays into that soft look. Honestly, you have kind of this, raised shadows, low contrast, like what's the word I'm looking for? Like soft pastel palette almost. But then you also have a couple shots like this, which has a little more contrast. Your blacks are a little lower, I think. Granted, I'm not taking this into like my inspector in Final Cut or something like that. So this could be different cameras too, in which case you've matched the colors pretty well, but the contrast and stuff is a little bit different. So to my eyes at least, so something to be aware of there.
To be my wife. Thus,
good use of light. I really like the just super dark background, and then of course him being in white looks nice.
At the same time, I will be the heart of her love and fountain of joy. So, as I promise to give you my best, I'm going to pray, read God's messages, and meditate.
Like that. It looks soft to me. In fact, I'm trying to see if I can pick up. I feel like maybe your focus is like here, and that they're out of focus. So yeah, just again, like I said, just being careful with that, being aware of it. That's a really good shot. I really like this.
And then I'll be loving and serve you forever.
Also, one thing I want to point out that you might not even know that you did, that is good. So, I get on people about the 180-degree rule, which I was already, when I was watching this first time, I was watching it with you guys. I was all ready to say like, oh man, if you cut from this shot to this shot right here, you are breaking the 180-degree line. He is on the left side here. She is on the right side. And in this shot, because you're coming from this angle, they're separate. But you did exactly what you should do, because we all know you got to take what you can get in a wedding ceremony. You got to ask for what you can get too. But you had multiple cameras running and both shooting this. But you put this shot in between, and that made it so it's not this 180-degree breaking rule breaking thing, which I love. I think that was very smart. That's exactly what you need to do. So good job. I also really like this shot. It's very well done. It's perfectly executed. I also really want to know what is going on with this. That is like a solid 1.5 feet higher than whoever's speaking. I also would say, actually, this is another good shot to say, what is the purpose of this shot? There's no audio. I don't know what they're doing. This could be something cultural, and if it is, like, then that's your answer. You say, oh, well, it was this, they were doing this prayer or something, and that's important to them. But all that to say, again, just making sure you're thinking about that. Get through this. I'm just going to skip ahead through some stuff. These are also things like the sand pouring, the, marriage license. I'm not saying you can't include them. I've included them before, but I've also not included them. So Some, you know, I just look at it and say, is this a good shot? Does this drive the story forward? Does this do what I want it to do? Does this push my video further? Does it make it a better video? And is there a purpose that's in here? And sometimes there is, and sometimes there isn't. And so, yeah.
Hello. Hi. I remember when we.
I like
first
her
met,
vows.
it
I think
was
they're
nothing so
good.
special. I thought I was just meeting somebody who
I like
would
those
help
two
pass
shots as
the
well.
in my forever.
I like this shot.
Today, I'm promising to love you endlessly, whenever we're together and apart, and even when we fight. And
Nice close-ups of rings. Like, that can be tough, of course.
I promise to trust you.
You never know what you
and to support you
are
as
working
an
with,
individual,
but
a partner, and an equal.
this one, so that seems like a lot of movement. Again, this is a personal preference thing.
Respect you, and to support you as an individual.
Right there. You're just covering a lot of ground on the gimbal or whatever it is you're on. Like, I'm more of a fan of, like, yeah, like I've said a million times, I'm a fan of, I like movement, I like it to be subtle. And I think when there's this much foreground movement, it just doesn't feel as subtle.
A partner and an equal. I want to grow old with you.
There's a
raise
shot I really
cute
like coming up
babies with you,
here.
and to go on many adventures with you. I pray that God will continue to lead us, and that
This shot, I just really like the framing, and I like how he really stands out because it's basically just white everywhere. White cake, white flowers, white curtains, white walls, white floor.
we keep him in
Yeah.
the center.
But it actually, now I'm going back to it, to me,
I pray that God will continue to lead us, and
the focus maybe looks a little soft again.
that
So
we keep him at the center
just
of our relationship.
look at your like source video, because this is YouTube, so like could just be YouTube. But look at the
Now I
source
don't
video.
say it much, but today's a special day.
Really good use with the vows though, or use of the vows. This looks like a little soft too. It looks like your focus might be up here on his hair. But I really like the use of these. Are hard to do. Like, I actually don't do these a lot where I'm playing with the veil, because yeah, they're just tough. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that shot. I wish it felt a little more in focus, which I think it isn't, but again, could be YouTube. But I really like, I think like the execution of it outside of that is really well done.
The awaited moment has come. The groom may now kiss the bride.
And then you start to transition here to some more like upbeat music. I'm not sure what this is. Oh, did they like bring her something to stand on or something? So this is like 3 in a row of videos I've reviewed today that I think do a really good job of using an important part. I think I kind of said this while we were watching. An important part of the music to really like, play up this part of the day. And then you switch to this like different style, but I think it works. I think I would do what I've said a handful of times where I'm asking myself, is this shot worth having? Could I cut this thing down? This is so like a minute or so. The last minute is like this. Could I cut it down to 30 seconds? Could I take out some shots that maybe aren't as necessary or something like that? But I do like this style, and I like the transition to it. I think it worked. I think that might have been a jump cut there. It might have been a photographer flash. I'm not sure. Sorry if you guys hear my dog snoring. She's sitting on my lap. I think you've seen her throughout the stream, and now she's just snoring. So, like, okay, that shot. This shot, sorry. This is good. This shot, I think, is out of focus. But this shot, like, I get it. It's people walking into the photo booth or whatever you call it. But, like, I think you could get by with just doing this. Like, I don't think you need them walking in, Good job, like, capturing what all they had, though, at the reception. I also really like this. My one thing that I would say, I think you timed it well with the music. It works really well. I do not like that they have coffee cups. Now, I will preface that by saying, I don't know the wedding. I've said that before in this stream. Maybe that's important to them, maybe not, but that's totally something where I would have asked them to put them down. I would have asked them to put it down if it was coffee cups, if it was champagne, if it was whatever outside of maybe if they wanted to run with sparklers on their own, which, you know, I'm not going to tell them to do that or not do that. But the coffee cups just don't seem in place. Now, again, you could tell me, oh, well, that was like they really wanted, they asked to do that, in which case I would say, absolutely then. But I think, you know, if it was all the same to them, I think you as the professional should say, well, I don't really want coffee cups, to-go coffee cups in my, you know, what could be my last shot and what should be a, you know, great shot. Like, it's something that you're banking on being like a good shot, no matter where it goes in the film, so. Like, because this is also why, like, are they running with coffee cups? It's whatever, you know, but I know that I'm going to ask them to kiss, embrace, you know, hang out, do some stuff with all the sparklers because it's a beautiful exit, and they have this cool light behind them too, which kind of works. But like they're holding a coffee cup, and it prohibits them from like a full connection, if that makes sense. It's the same reason I wouldn't have them bring coffee cups on, you know, an engagement shoot, or at least not for all of it, or, you know, when you're doing bride and groom time. Like, I want them to be fully in the moment with each other and with their friends and family as well. But yeah. But this is it's a good shot. It's a good ending shot too. It works really well, and a nice slow fade out. Sweet. All right, I think that's everything on that film. Let's see. Should we add in one more? We're at an hour and a half. I think we can add in one more. We're going to do one more. Just need some water. All right, while I get this last one queued up. Maybe not the last one, but I don't know. While I get this next one queued up, let's put it that way. Let me drag this over, and then let me go through a couple things in the chat here. Ooh, this one's a Google Drive. Let me make sure. How do I open this? You guys might hear it for a second here. Sorry. All right, that looks like it'll work. Cool. Let me go through this chat real quick. I think I already commented on the pricing thing. So yeah, Jared, if you got a question, let me know. Love photos and films. My videos. How long are my films? So I did actually used to do 8 hours of filming, or, you know, I would break it down by how many hours. So it was 8, 10, and 12. Of course, they could go, like, we had a couple over the years go more than that, but they had to add time. I actually don't break it down by that anymore. I do full day coverage. I prefer it that way. I think I talk about it in a couple videos, but my big thing is, like, I just think the hours thing was kind of a hang up with my clients, and I didn't want that to be the case. And I felt like people would try to, you know, save some money and cut out hours of coverage that they really needed. And I didn't really like dealing with that because ultimately I thought it led to a worse product for me. With that said, especially if you aren't good at standing your ground, doing full day coverage can be bad for you. I don't know, like, it can end poorly, right? You can get taken advantage of pretty easily. Anyway, how long my films are. So the way my packages are divided up now is by how long they want their film. We only offer 2 highlight film options. We do have 4 collections, but two highlight film options, and that is 1 song and 2 songs. So 1 song is, you know, 3.5 minutes, something like that. A 2 song is more like 7 to 8 minutes, something like that. And that is independent of how long we are shooting. Now, I will say, when we have a good idea of what their date looks like, we might say, like, hey, you know, you've only really got, you know, especially like during COVID, right? We've had a lot of people do kind of a smaller day. And, you know, people who might have booked us for a 2-song edit are now doing kind of just a 6 or 7 hour day. And I have with multiple people said, hey, look, I know this is like, you know, against my business practice, right? I want to make money as a business, but I don't think that your wedding day I don't think that a 2-song edit is the best fit for your wedding day. And I think that we would be adding in shots that are just kind of filler, and it's going to just kind of elongate the day for this, or the film, for the sake of elongating it. And I don't think that that's what that's not what I want as an artist. That's not what I want my films to look like. And I think ultimately I'm going to provide you a better film if you downgrade to the lower package. And I've had people do that, and I'm totally fine with that. And I've done the reverse, too, where I've said, hey, we've got even after the fact, like, we've got a ton of great footage. We were there for 12 hours. Like, you've only got us for a 1-song edit. I just want to let you know, like, I'm totally fine doing a 1-song, because some people might just prefer that, and that's fine. Or they might have a strict budget, and that's fine too. But, like, we could definitely do an awesome 2-song. I think it could work really well. So, and part of that too is just like you're building that trust with your clients. You're doing it over the years too, and as you do this more and more, and you're building that trust that they listen to what you have to say. So, let's see. Let's keep going through. All right, Nithi, thank you. I'm glad you're a big fan. George and Fitness Assassin, awesome. Thank you guys. I'm glad you think this is worthwhile. This definitely takes a lot of time. Obviously, I'm on here for a couple hours, but I'm happy to do it. I like connecting with the community that we've built here on Wedding Film School. I love offering some like practical, useful, like you plug it into your next wedding advice. And I also love that, like, with these wedding films, obviously it's the most, it's the most useful or beneficial to the person whose film I'm critiquing, or the people whose films I critique in this. But like, we can literally all learn stuff, and we can view these wedding films and say like, oh yeah, I do that too. I never really thought of it this way, or something like that. So I like that this can be useful to everybody. And actually, so yeah, Fitness Assassin, I just saw your next comment. Go ahead and click this link. You kind of get queued up. So it's pretty rare that I'm doing it like, people that are getting reviewed today did not submit today. They submitted other days. So you get added to a queue, and then hopefully I'll make it to yours eventually. But submit it now if you guys want, Fitness Assassin or anybody else. Submit it at the link below. It's about 7-8 questions. You can do your film, you can do your pricing guide, you can do your website, you can do all 3 or any mix of those that you want, and you will get added to the queue. And we're trying to do these live streams every couple weeks, mixing it up between films and websites and stuff like that. So submit your stuff there, guys. And then also, one last plug again, if you want to have a better shot at getting your films reviewed, become a member with Wedding Film School. I will post it here. Member. That is going to get you priority in these live streams, and you'll get a better shot at getting your stuff reviewed. We will guarantee to get to it at some point. And if you are one of the members and we're reviewing 5 films and there's 5 members who submitted, then you will be the 5 people who are reviewing. So starts at $5 a month. There are upper tiers as well that get you some even better benefits, some private groups, some one-on-one stuff, a live Q&A that we're going to do once a month once we have enough members in that tier, which will be awesome with myself and or Jason. You guys can ask us anything you want. And then also on the upper tier, you're going to get just straight up once a month, you can just send us a film, whether you want us to do it on the live stream or you want to send you a video privately, which would be a similar form to this, but it would just be, sent to you privately. It wouldn't be publicly available if you prefer it that way. You're just going to get a guaranteed live or a guaranteed film review just straight up. So once a month, so you can send us 12 films over the year, and it will be a more in-depth critique as well. Let's see, a couple more here. Daniel Florian, we want Craig Adams. I am glad you love Craig. Craig is a great guy. Craig is no longer with Wedding Film School. He hasn't been in a while. You'll notice that I am in most of the videos now, as well as Jason. So myself and Jason run Wedding Film School. Craig's a great guy, but yeah, he's no longer a part of it. I don't think that he ever will be again. So I hope that you can enjoy myself and Jason and what we bring to the channel. We have quite a bit of experience. I would argue we have more experience than Craig Adams. In fact, I would almost guarantee it. In fact, I will guarantee it. Myself with 14 years, Jason with I think 16 or 18 years. Don't let me speak for him though. So we're trying to provide what we can to this community. I will say this. I know people love Craig Adams. Like I said, I do too. He's a great guy, and he's definitely done stuff for this industry. But with that said, if there are things that you don't like about the way we're doing things, tell us. Like, we're an open book. We know that we're trying to revamp this channel and kind of bring it back to where it was. We know where we want this community and this channel to be, and we need your help as a community to do that. So let us know what you want to see. Like, do you like these live reviews? What other videos do you want to see? Do you want to, like, we've done a lot on like audio, and I have an editing series and whatever, but if you're like, hey, I really want to see how you do this, seriously, comment it here, comment it on a video, send us an email, whatever you want. Like, we want to take those things into consideration. So yeah, so TN Reels or whatever, yeah, so I do it by songs. Just a good way for me to just like say, but yeah, it's essentially the same thing. I just sometimes like mixing up the songs and whatever, but yeah, exactly. It's basically just a length. So when I pitch somebody, I'll say, oh, 1 song edit, so that's like a 3.5 minute film, or a 2 song, which is like 7 to 8 minutes. But really, yeah, I mean, they're doing it based on the film, because if they had a say in the music and they picked a 6-minute film for a 1 song, I would be like, no, that's not how this works. This is a 3.5 minute film, give or take a little bit. And Restless Media, you can see my work. So if you go on the Wedding Film School channel, you'll see some film breakdowns, and we've done maybe 4 of them so far, and 1 of them was from a guest, but the other ones are from me. So you can see my work there. It lists, like, it's a little bit different because it's listing on the top and bottom every single piece of gear that's used, and like all the audio and stuff like that, and settings and whatever. Or if you want to just see my work straight up, you can look up my company, which is, I'll type it in here, Redmond Digital Media. You can look us up on YouTube. I think it's like Redmond Digital Media - wedding videos or something like that. So you can see a lot more of our work there. Yeah, all right, let's get into this last one here, or probably the last one. We'll see where we come up on time. So this is on Google Drive, and I haven't streamed from Google Drive yet, so if there's issues, now you know why. Like it not starting.
And I also promise to be your James, Alexander, Malcolm, Mackenzie, Fraser. And I'm not sure why I'm found this. I just know she has a giant crush on the guy, so.
Kyle, all my life I've played a particular role: the academic, the team player, the perfectionist.
This is really, I like that shot. There's some things I would change about it though, but
myself. You have accepted me at my worst,
some
held me
nice
at
couple
my lowest,
stuff,
and have always motivated me to be my best. That is the kind of unconditional love I vow to give to you.
Just trying to get my camera to catch my face. I think it's out of focus.
When Faith asked
Some
me
cool
to be your maid
details.
of honor, my first thought was, oh gosh.
All right, we're gonna talk about audio here.
But I've known Faith since 2nd grade, when we sat together in Miss Taylor's class. But then we got moved away.
It's good content though. It is good content, and good, like
We
that shot of her is
instantly
good. I like that.
And we were the friends that our parents couldn't handle as sisters. So God made us best friends instead. I'm so happy that my best friend has found her Prince Charming. I couldn't imagine a better man for her. Love is a friendship
It's a
that
cool
has caught
spot
fire.
too.
So
See,
make
this
love
might be a
burn
backyard
bright
wedding.
for years to come. Here's to my best friend and her new best friend. I love you so much.
If it is, they did a really good job with it.
I vow to be your best friend, the Pam Beasley to your Jim Halpert. I vow to be your loudest cheerleader and your favorite headache.
I vow that we will live our life like Kevin Malone. We will forever enjoy cake and tacos. And while you take the plunge, officially giving up your last name and accepting mine, combining these two wild families together, I vow to be your Jim Halpert and you my Pam Beasley.
It's pretty cool. I've had that happen before too, where their vows are like very, very similar.
I think he's got the one. I don't think he's any better.
I vow to remind you always
Really
that I
good
love
reaction,
you and that
too.
together we can conquer the world.
Cracker Barrel to a wedding. How we got here is really a beautiful story. Kyle, boy, you're a lucky man. For years, I have lovingly admired the friend
receive. I now pronounce you husband and wife, and you may now kiss the bride.
Really good use of music. See if there's a logo. TN Reels. Oh, perfect. I think you were just in here. All right. Or maybe you're still in here. Cool. All right. So I'm going to go back through this. I think I've pointed out a lot of things that I like. I think you have some good shots of the couple. I think you have a few exposure issues, but a lot of it is like pretty solid. And like it could be a, you know, you never know when you're filming, right? Like it could be high noon or whatever. And so you handle that pretty well if that's the case. I think there's definitely some things that you can improve on as well. So first, also I want to say I'm going to talk about the audio quality, but your weaving of the audio, at least of what I could hear well, like you did a good job, like weaving in the vows kind of back and forth at different points. You had different toasts and stuff as well. A little bit from the pastor or whoever's officiating. So some good use of stuff there. All right. So.
And I also promise
this. I like that you're starting on the couple. I don't mind that you're starting on the ceremony. I don't mind that you're starting with vows, but I don't like that you are this is not like an intro. You're starting on the phrase "and I also promise." That inherently, like that implies that there was a first part to that, and it makes me as the viewer think, "Oh, what I miss? Like am I like 10 seconds into this film? Oh no, I'm right at the beginning. Oh, weird." You can't choose the way they say things. He said, "and I also promise." That was the way he wrote it or read it or whatever. But all that to say, I would maybe not start on this because of that.
To be your James, Alexander, Malcolm.
Although
Kinsey,
it is clearly like specific to them,
I'm
it
not
makes
sure
her
why
laugh.
I'm down this. I just know she has a
Could be
giant
good to
crush
see
on
her
me,
reaction
so.
too. And then this shot too. You actually come to this shot a couple times. I don't know if it's in the other shot, but I do know because this is her dad. I think your camera's right in here, and I think that's you know, it is what it is. Sometimes you're limited on where you can set up and what you can do, but I would have gone tighter. I don't think you want your camera in there. I don't think that outside of like maybe the processional and just like the way that's kind of sometimes a mess, to put it lightly. When you're in your like stage like setup shots, I think there's no excuse for having a camera in there. So. And then this stuff too. So this is one thing I want to talk about with you. There's two big things that I think are more like general, not like picking on a specific shot, but general stuff with this. One would be the camera work. And I think that in a lot of ways, like you have some lockdown shots and stuff. I think you're relying on autofocus in a lot of shots because there are a handful of shots at least that I see it kind of going in and out. If you're locked down, don't rely on autofocus. And if you're going to do handheld, so that's the other thing, is kind of the shakiness. You're doing handheld for a lot of your shots. Handheld might seem like, oh, that's the simplest form of shooting, right? And I have internal stabilization, so I'm good to go. And I'm not saying that's your thought process. Handheld is probably the hardest way to shoot. Now, I mentioned earlier that I always recommend people don't start with a gimbal because I think it stunts their growth. And I know that's kind of... I'm being a hypocrite of sorts, right? Saying, well, don't do handheld's really hard, but also don't do a gimbal. I think that you should start on a monopod and a tripod. Not you specifically, but just in general. I think that people should learn how to tell a story with that, and I think that helps them as a filmmaker. I think handheld is achievable, and I think that you should focus on testing handheld shots. I don't know what your rig is. I don't know what you're running. If it's just your camera and a lens, I would add more weight. I would figure out the ergonomics of it, add a strap. I'm not sure what you need to do, but I think you need to settle out your movement a little bit because it's jarring. Or switch to a tripod and monopod for a little while or something like that. But yeah, I think the handheld, you have some shots that work really well in handheld, but you have some that are just like a little bit too much movement. Or the other thing too, sorry, this was my other thought earlier in the film, was you are not really using slow motion, which I like. I don't really love slow motion. I don't use it. But if you're going to be handheld, you might want to. Like I recently started to kind of shoot handheld as a way to just like feel more creative, like just to change it up, right? And I think sometimes that's okay. And I've utilized a little bit of slow motion there because I needed to, because it's hard. So that's a thought. That shot is kind of blown out.
Kyle.
So like this, you're move. So like this is, I think this is handheld, and I think you're trying to walk with it, and I just think that's rarely gonna work. If you're shooting slow motion, really high frame rate or something, then maybe you can slow it down and get a little bit of a push in. But I think you maybe added some sort of stabilization in post here, and you can see it kind of jello wobble a little bit. Or maybe you didn't, and it's just the stabilization internally. But yeah, I wouldn't try moves like that so much. You can see it there too. And then there too, like this is a tripod. So I think that I think you're on a tripod. I think you should just lock it down. Like I don't know why you're moving back and forth there. All right, got a response from you. Yeah, so that is one of the downsides of a gimbal. You can use a zoom lens. I use a 16-35, but it depends, of course, what zoom lens you're doing. And then, of course, what gimbal you're using. Like, you could way overkill the weight limit of your camera by using a big gimbal and run a longer lens on it. You can do that. I don't really. I only run a wide lens. Like I said, 16-35. I don't run anything further or closer than that because I think it's really hard to do. Like it's really hard to run a 85 millimeter on a gimbal. Monopod in the works. That's awesome. I think you just got to play around with it and see what works for you. But I think stabilizing some stuff would help you out a bit. Really good use of vows or whatever they're saying.
My favorite role when I met you.
So yeah, you did cut the camera out there, so that's good.
You have accepted me.
That's
at
a really
my worst,
good shot.
Held me at my lowest, and have always motivated me to be my
This
best.
one again though, like I don't know if you're on a tripod or handheld there, but there's just a lot of movement. I would just lock stuff down as best you can.
That is the kind of unconditional love I vow to give to you.
Like that's a really good shot. It's locked down, so smooth. This, yeah, maybe shoot high. I don't know what you're shooting on either. I mean, if you don't have the ability to shoot slow motion, then you don't. And I think you need to work within the restrictions of that. But I think this shot, like I get what you're going for here, and I like what you're going for. I just think it could be executed better with a monopod or something, and some of these details too. Like close-ups are just hard with a handheld. They just are. Like when I'm using my handheld rig, which granted I've added like a lot of weight to mine, I've built it out. I've actually got a behind-the-scenes video coming. We went behind the scenes with a full wedding. It's like 45 minutes long. It's a ton of info for you guys. You'll see my rig in that. But it is, it's built to be handheld. It's not just a camera on its own. And there's a reason to do that, which is the weight and the ergonomics and stuff like that. So yeah, A7 III, like you could shoot 60 frames per second and you could slow some of this stuff down. It's totally up to you. Like, I don't know what you want to do. If you don't like slow motion, then you shouldn't use it. And yeah, try a monopod or a gimbal or whatever you want. But if you don't mind slow motion, you could shoot 60 frames per second. You could even shoot 120 frames per second if you want. You could slow some of the stuff down, and it will allow you to be able to make it a little smoother. Now let's jump to this. First off, I really like this shot. I don't know if you're using a light or if this is just kind of one of the lights that was there. I think this looks great. The audio though, the audio of the vows of the ceremony is really good. I'm not sure if you had them mic'd up or you were plugged into a receiver or something like that, or draped a mic over a speaker and it worked out or whatever. This audio is this is at the level where I wouldn't include it. I don't know if you didn't I don't know if you had something set up and it didn't work, or there's a ton of things that can go wrong. We all know that, and man, do I ever know that. I will say I don't know if you are earlier in your career, one of the big things that I've always learned is if you don't have a backup, you're basically banking. Like if you don't have a backup, expect to get nothing. And if you have one backup, expect to get one good source, you know? So always have one more source than you need. So I have a bunch of videos going over how I plug into the DJ. Let's see, I actually see your... Yeah, so yeah, I forgot to turn on the recorder from the DJ. I've been there, man. Like, yeah, it's the worst. I know how I feel, though. But yeah, like, that's one of the things. Like, a Rode, like a shotgun mic on top of a camera for reception, it's just not going to really work. You could try pointing it at a speaker and see. The other thing, too, is, like, I assume you use a lav mic for the groom, then put it on the people giving a toast. Put it on the mic. Like, guarantee yourself that you're going to walk away with good audio even if there's a mistake. And whether that mistake is on you or whether that mistake is the DJ had terrible equipment or, you know, the power went out or who knows, right? Like, I've seen it all. It's one of those things you live and you learn. So I'm sure you're already hard enough on yourself, so I'm not going to harp on you. But that is one of the things where, like, I think audio has to be of a certain level, and I think if it's not, you just don't include it. Like, build it out some other way. That's my personal opinion. And also, I'm not like a master at fixing audio. Maybe this is like somewhat salvageable if you put some work into it with some, like, you know, EQ and stuff like that. Maybe it gets more usable. So I don't know.
Maid of honor. My first thought was, oh gosh.
But it is really good content, so that's really tough too.
But I've known Faith since 2nd grade, when we sat together in Miss Taylor's class. But then we got moved away the same day because we were too talkative. We instantly clicked, and we were the friends that our parents couldn't handle as sisters. So God made us best friends instead.
I think this is a good shot in a tough scenario. I feel like there's maybe some tungsten lights that they're like under something, and then you have the whole background, which of course is daylight, and it's probably overexposed. So I think, given the circumstance, you did a good job with that shot. Some good emotion there.
I'm so happy that my best friend has found her Prince Charming. I couldn't imagine a better man for her.
This shot I would maybe take out, like the couple's out of focus, they're kind of in a weird spot in the frame. Or I would have maybe reframed the shot somehow. Like, I like what you're showing. But yeah.
It is a friendship that has caught fire, so make love burn bright for years to come. Here's to
like
my
the
best
shot
friend
of the
and my
hands.
best friend.
I know this is focused on her. I don't know if you maybe zoomed in from your other shot. You had a wider shot for a lot of this, but I don't really know what I was going to say with this. I was going to kind of say, like, I would like to see both of them more, but I know this is really focused on her because it's, you know, it's the maid of honor and talking about her, so.
Love you so much.
And it's a really good reaction. Really good catch
I vow
on
to be
that.
your best friend, the Pam Beasley to your Jim Halpert. I vow to be your loudest cheerleader and your favorite headache.
I also like knowing, so, you know, he reacts when she says the Pam Beasley to his Jim Halpert, and I imagine he went second with his vows then, because you know, he says it too, which I think is awesome. I already kind of commented on that, so his reaction is even better then because of that.
I vow that we will live our life like Kevin Malone. We will forever enjoy cake and...
See, like that. This is the shot that I want to see. You've cut to this, but it's always been like moving and jerking around. But this is like perfectly solid, awesome, well exposed,
and while you take
well
the plunge,
colored
officially
shot.
giving up your...
I do think that this shot seems a little cooler, like color temperature wise, than this. So I don't know if these are two different cameras or, you know, just maybe check that out in post.
Except in mine, combining these two wild
that
frames
though,
together.
you've got that hiccup with the autofocus going. I don't know if it's kind of, you know, it's obviously hunting and searching. So,
vow to be your Jim Halpert, and you, my friend.
Yeah, I really like that, and you integrate it really well.
I've always told Kyle, especially in public, I think he's got the one.
So this, like, this is actually a better example of what I was gonna say before. So lately, one of the things I've been doing, because like I swear like I've never really run into this, But lately at all the head tables, it's just like you can't get a shot of the couple without some giant freaking floral arrangement in their face or like a big giant candle or whatever. And I'm just like, what for toast? Like I'm just walking up, and I would just walk up and I would take this off the table, and I would have no hesitation about doing it. Because I don't think you should cut off her face. That's why. I have done that, like, I swear I've done that now, like, almost every wedding this past year. And I don't know, like, what changed where, like, there's always something in the way. But, yeah, I'm getting a lot more where I'm just like, look, I'm not trying to stage stuff. I'm not going to make you redo a first look. I hate that. I know people do that. I think it's, I don't know, ingenuine or whatever. That's just my personal opinion. But I have no hesitations to walk up and be like, this is in my way, I'm taking it out. Or, you know, I don't want you getting ready in this room that has 0 windows. You know what I mean? Like, I want to move you over to this nice light. Like, I think being bold in that, you're not affecting the day, you're not ruining the day, you're not even really altering the day, you're just making the day as good as it can be. While still in the realm of, like, real and true to them. So
I vow
that's
to
a really
remind
good
you
reaction,
always
which
that
I
I
think
love
I already
you,
said.
and that together we can conquer the world.
Practical to a wedding. How we got here is
I like the
way of
transition to
being
something upbeat. Now, part of this is because the audio from the toast is not that great, and we've already touched on that. But I think your music is too loud for your audio. Starting here, I don't think I really felt that earlier, but yeah, starting here, like, it's more upbeat music, so I think you got to bring it down a little bit lower. Even if this audio was good, I think part of it is because the audio is rough and it's from a shotgun mic, but part of it too is just like the music is too loud for
Kyle, boy, you're a lucky man. For years, I have lovingly admired the friend and partner you are today. You complement each other so well. I've watched you guys grow together into the.
But again, a really good, like, well framed, well lit shot. I think you said he used the Practilite, so.
By the power vested in me by the state of Tennessee, I now pronounce you husband and wife, and you may now kiss the bride.
That's a good shot, and again, really good use of like the music. One thing I would say, so right here. Oh, sorry, I'm not even in full screen. Here we go. Right here is, I think that's his mic. I don't know what you're using for a mic. Quick injection to say, I highly recommend the Tascam DR10L. I've used it for multiple years. It is far and away my favorite piece of audio gear. And it does a great job. But regardless of what you're using, I would put this pretty much every time the groom is going to be on this side, right? Outside, like, that is where they should be unless they just do whatever they want. I'd put it on the other side. If you put it on the other side, it won't show. Again, it's not a big deal. I think this is the only shot that it showed in, but I'm here to critique, so I'm giving you all the critiques. So yeah, I would just, oh, that's from the DJ? Tell the DJ to get out of here then. That's actually another thing where, like, if I saw that, and this is like, it would be really hard to see that. And also, he might have had like a jacket on earlier and whatever. If I saw that, I would just be like, hey, I'm going to move this. And I wouldn't even ask the DJ. And, I don't know, maybe you suffer the wrath of the DJ, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, okay, that makes sense. That's the DJ mic. Oh, I was going to say, yeah, I like a lot of the dancing footage. I think that there might be more than you need in there. Like, there's just some that are just, like, fine, and then there's some, like, this is a really good one. Obviously, the bride and groom, you want to include them and stuff, but I think there's some shots that you, like, if you had to make it 4 minutes, I get it, and you didn't have other good, like, couple stuff or whatever. But if, like, it was all the same to you to make this film, like, 3 minutes and 40 seconds, let's say, like, I think you could cut some of the dancing stuff out. But good use of the light. And just good use of, like, the editing and pacing with a more upbeat song and stuff like that. The last thing I would say is so there's that big beat, right? And you cut to... You cut to that, which I like. That's the bride and groom, I think. And I like that. Then you cut to this, which you've already put that in there, so I might not put that in there. Like, I would almost cut out the bride and groom and the groom and his mom and just cut straight to this and fade a little bit earlier and end on that. Because that's like the big, like, that's like the impactful, like, this is the ending of the song, this impactful outro to the video. And I think you should just, like, rather than fitting in a couple shots, I would just end on, like, the good shot right there. Like, utilize that. You've utilized other parts in the song to, like, emphasize parts in the video, and you've done a good job of that. I think this is another place where you could do that, where you kind of emphasize, like, a great ending shot, and it just kind of fades to your logo or whatever you do, which I think this is the last shot. Oh, no. Okay, so this is the last shot. Here's another thing. I like this shot better than this shot. Her dress is blown out, and you're zooming in. And this is going to be a personal preference thing. I think zooming in while filming, subtle zooms in post are outside of this comment. But zooming in camera, which I think you're doing here, right there, it feels dated to me, and I just would try not to do it. And it's not a bad shot, but I think because you're zooming in part way through it, and because her dress is pretty, like, is, you know, overexposed, at least part of it is, I would end on that other shot. I think this other shot, and just fade the music. Whoa, what I hit. Sorry, let's go back here. So this shot right here, I would end on that, especially if it's longer too. Like if you have another 2 seconds and you want to make it, you know, 2 seconds longer and fade out through that. That would be my personal opinion. There are definitely reasons to do it, why you did it though. So obviously you know your reasons better than I know my reasons. So sweet. Well, let's see here. What are we at? 2 hours and 12 minutes. I think I'm going to call it, guys. I'm going to link these things 2 more times. First off, boom, if you want your film, website, or pricing, link, fill it out, add that stuff in. Sorry, we had a little hiccup there. Add your stuff in. Give me all the details. Please fill out the questions that I ask you to fill out. Specifically, I need the music that you license so that I can license it. But yeah, add that stuff in there. I will add you to the queue. Somebody asked, is there a way we can see the queue? No, I'm not really going in order, especially because of members. Like, members have priority. Also, so segue, if you want priority in getting your stuff reviewed, become a member. You can do it at the link that is in the chat. You can find it. Starts at $5 a month. There are upper tiers as well. Get you a bunch of cool benefits. Live Q&As, guaranteed film reviews, stuff like that. There is not a way that you can see the queue. I just keep a running Excel spreadsheet. I try to mark off people when I can, once I go through them. I'm not going exactly in order either. Like I'm kind of trying to, but also a lot of people have submitted, and actually, Bruno, hold on 1 second. I'm going to get to that, but let me just finish. A lot of people have submitted, and they're not like, you got to give me the license. Like, I cannot review your film if you don't give me the license or the song that you licensed. I'll license it on Music Better Soundstripe, but I just need to know what it is, and I'm not going to search around for it. So a lot of people like didn't fill that out. So like going in order is kind of a pain. Now, anyway, Bruno, long time no see. Am I reviewing any films? Yeah, I'm reviewing films. Oh, okay, I get what you're saying. Yes, you do not need to pay. In fact, only one of today's wedding films was somebody who is a member. And we've done multiple streams where we've had no member applications for those streams. So the majority of what we're doing, at least at this point, granted, as we grow our membership and we get more people of the community into membership, they will have priority. But especially right now, that's not the case at all. So basically, if you don't pay, you will still get reviewed. So that is actually the honest answer. So there you go. Yeah, you can ask pretty much anybody that's been reviewed outside of a couple people over these live streams, and they will tell you that they may not currently be members. So a little jump to conclusion there, that is actually not the case, and you still have plenty of opportunity. So go ahead and submit it at the link. You can do film, but please include the music, website, or pricing guide, or pricing in general, or if it's on your website or whatever. Yeah, actually, and then last thing, Bruno, do it, you can do it next time if you want to, but anybody watching this, you do get kind of added to that queue, so, it's not like I'm only taking people who submitted today. In fact, I didn't take anybody who submitted today. I probably won't do that until we have 2 people running this stream at the same time, because I can't do the background tasks of licensing your music and stuff like that while reviewing, and it will just be a hang up of you guys watching me do dumb, boring stuff like licensing your music before I review it. So yeah, I always recommend submit it now, just get added to the list, and you'll stay in queue, and we'll, work through it as fast as we can. We're trying to do these every couple weeks. Thank you guys for joining. I love, again, just getting this community together and getting all this chat and stuff, which I love to see. So I hope this was helpful. I hope it was helpful even if I didn't review your film. If you have submitted, if you don't remember sending me specific song titles or a link to the song that you licensed with the artist and whatever, maybe resubmit. And if you do remember doing that, then you're in the queue, and we will work through it as we can. Try and do these every couple weeks. And we will see you guys in the next video. We'll probably have a couple videos. I do have a big behind the scenes video I'm very excited for. It's 45 minutes long right now. We're actually adding a little other sequence to it too. That's why it's not out yet. I took somebody with me behind the scenes of a wedding the entire day. We boiled it down into this 45-minute-ish film, just going over how I'm shooting, why I'm shooting the way I am, what's going through my head, what I'm looking for, how I'm posing people, just everything that goes into shooting a wedding. You've seen some past examples on this channel, so we are really excited for that coming out. And that is everything. Thank you guys for joining. I will see you guys in the next video. See ya.